you're writing that song about me. 'Cause you said forever, now I drive alone past your street.
Hi, I'm Lori, I'm 28 years old, and I have a strange fascination with Olivia Rodrigo. I know nothing about fashion or about music, but I really like her song and her style. I think my inner teen girl just relates to her on so many levels. If her music had been out when I was in high school, I would have listened to it on repeat and made it my life's anthem. She does an amazing job at portraying teen angst, young heartache, and the innocence of teen girls. With Olivia Rodrigo, it is the first time I find myself connecting with a Gen Z artist and relate, and I am not the only one. Countless tweets and testimonials echo similar sentiments. If Olivia Rodrigo's album came out when I was in high school, I would have been escorted out of IB English in fucking handcuffs. If you wronged me between 2005 and 2009, good luck, because I'm a millennial listening to Sour and I'm mad at you again. Olivia Rodrigo, I'm so sick of 17. Where's my fucking teenage dream? Me, 27. Wow, so true, bestie. Olivia's debut album, Sour, is packed with witty lyricism, addictive melodies, and high school nostalgia. Along with powerful ballads and early 2000s pop-punk inspired music, the record features catchy visuals that complement the sentiment expressed in the songs perfectly. The overall aesthetic of the Sour era, including the Sour Prom special on YouTube and Disney Plus's Driving Home to You, a Sour film, often embody the trends of the late 90s and early 2000s. From stickers, collages, and composition notebooks to Polaroid pictures and retro cars, Sour is definitely a whole vibe and enhances the storytelling featured in her music. And Olivia's style also supports the overarching narrative found in the album, with platform boots, fishnet stockings, and plaid skirts accenting a more edgy rebel side, along with butterfly clips and barrettes, pigtails, and pastel accents revealing a girlier, more innocent side. Her style reflects the confusion and duality of teenagehood present in her music. I would recommend you watch Jasmine Zaid's video on Olivia Rodrigo if you want to hear more about her music and career. It will be linked in the description box. Now, I am very far from a fashion commentator and have virtually no style, but I will attempt to channel my inner Minole and deliver this video without sounding completely out of my depth. I even tried my hardest to find whatever could be as 90s as possible in my closet. I really don't have much. And attempted a 90s inspired hairstyle, maybe. I don't really know what teenagers do these days, but I tried. And if I'm a tiny little bit more nasally than usual, I am sorry. I am recovering from a cold, so I apologize for that. So this isn't my typical kind of video, but I thought I would just have some fun with it. Hope you enjoy. With the pandemic forcing everyone to spend more time home and online, it's no surprise that millennials are revisiting classics of their youth like Friends, Clueless, Mean Girls, and more. Gen Zs are also able to join in and rewatch or watch the classics for the first time. Even before the pandemic, we were seeing lots of reboots like Gossip Girl, Charmed, The Babysitter Club, and Fuller House, to name a few. As the first digitally native generation, millennials' youth is the first to be archived and documented online. We are the first to have access to our favorite childhood movies just a couple of clicks away. We might even still have some old playlists from high school saved on an iPod somewhere. And we all have cringy early Facebook posts to reminisce on. We can instantly be transported back to our teenage days and remember a time where things were simpler, before adulthood complicated everything. The resurgence of film photography and Polaroids is one indication of people's desire to escape the pressures of curated feeds on social media and the overstimulation of constant connectedness and technology. Young people are longing for the pre-social media era where we got to be more carefree and live in the moment. And amidst the state of global affairs, now more than ever, we feel this cultural necessity to escape. Those trips down memory lane can foster a sense of belonging and strengthen our relationships through shared experiences. Research has shown that nostalgia can serve as a powerful coping mechanism for dealing with anxiety. Dr. Andrew Abeyta, an assistant professor of psychology at Rutgers University, says millennials experiencing nostalgia want to retreat to a place that's familiar and comfortable, and so it's no surprise to me that young adults' entertainment and free time surrounds things from their childhood or things that they have a special connection to. Since millennials have displayed more anxiety than previous generations, the American Psychiatric Association even referring to us as the most anxious generation, this more prevalent feeling of nostalgia experienced by young adults like us reassures us that even though we experience stresses and things that challenge us, ultimately we are the same people. This alone can give us strength to move on. Erica Hepper, a psychologist at the University of Surrey, notes that nostalgic yearning is a means to feel happier, have higher self-esteem, feel closer to loved ones, and feel that life has more meaning. Ariana Grande's Thank You Next music video is probably the most popular example of millennial nostalgia. Ari references 4 iconic early 2000s rom-coms. We got Mean Girls, Legally Blonde, Bring It On, and 13 Going on 30. The On Wednesday We Wear Pink, coordinated outfits from Mean Girl, and the Elle Woods tacky pink style, and the cheer uniforms from Bring It On, all inspired this Y2K fashion trend, micro skirts, chunky heels, and all. Similarly, Charli XCX and Troye Sivan's song 1999 also draws from coming-of-age movies and reenacts scenes from Titanic, The Matrix, and American Beauty. Music videos from Alone by Halsey and Savior by Iggy Azalea both draw from neon-lit aesthetics of Romeo plus Juliet from 1996. And of course, we have Olivia Rodrigo's music video Good For You that features Mean Girl Lana's cheerleading outfit from The Princess Diary, along with a very 90s aesthetic overall. She also references the movie Jennifer's Body and the water scene and floor scenes at the end, as well as some Carrie vibes with the bright flame behind her in the bedroom on fire scene. Although the original Carrie movie was made in the 70s, there was a remake in 2002 and another one in 2013. HBO's show Euphoria also borrows from Y2K trends in some of their looks, but that would be a whole other video in and of itself. All the Old Things, a 2016 song from Sunrise Skater Kids, is the perfect parody of iconic pop punk songs from early 2000s from the perspective of aged up millennials like myself. Similarly, other recent pop songs have made references to the 90s and early 2000s in their lyrics, like Anne Marie's song 2002 mentioning Britney Spears' Baby One More Time, and even including the iconic sexy schoolgirl outfit, NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, and Jay-Z's 99 Problem. The countless reboots, binge-watch sessions of iconic movies, and new music videos featuring Y2K aesthetics, along with countless TikTok trends, have all solidified the return of 90s/Y2K fashion trends. With fashion cycles said to be repeated every 20 years or so, it's not surprising that early 2000s staple pieces like baby tees, butterfly clips, mini skirts, bandanas, and bucket hats are coming back in style now. It's interesting to see young artists take inspiration from previous trends and try to make them into their own. Olivia Rodrigo is the perfect example of that, and that's why I will be analyzing her stylistic choices today. Since the release of her debut album Sour, she has become a style icon, embracing all the trends of the late 90s and early 2000s and putting her own spin on it. As with her music, which matches different genres, with her clothes, she draws from a variety of different retro styles, making her looks eye-catching and quite unique in the modern music scene. As one of her stylists, Shani Delgadillo, told WWD regarding the styling process of her music video Brutal, they drew inspirations from early 2000s shows like Lizzie McGuire and Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's movies, and saw how random fashion was back then. Along with her sister Chloe, who also styles Olivia, they work with her to demonstrate her creativity through looks that accentuate the storytelling aspect of her music. They will choose clothes that support the angsty themes that she explores while keeping in mind Olivia's fondness for late 90s and Y2K fashion. Her style may be eclectic and even a little chaotic at times. As we will see shortly, she often mixes and matches darker elements like plaid pants, fishnet, long sleeves, chunky boots, distressed shirts, chokers, studded leather belts, with girly vibes like pigtails and space buns, big barrettes, pink and purple fabrics, butterflies and bows, fuzzy/furry fabrics, etc. Since fashion is just another means of self-expression for Olivia, along with songwriting, it is only natural that she would be just as bold and experimental with her styling choices as she is with her music. While often wearing outfits referring 90s inspiration, she wears a lot of vintage and secondhand clothes as well as rewear outfits on various occasions. In fact, all the clothes from her music video for Brutal were sourced from Poshmark, eBay, and Depop, along with a few pieces from early 2000s designer archives. In an interview Olivia did with Vogue, she mentioned her love for vintage fashion, which is motivated by her interest in sustainability and concerns for the environment. This is unsurprising as Zoomers are known to shop more sustainably and value thrifted finds, particularly thanks to sites like Depop, Poshmark, and ThredUp offering online secondhand items. Olivia has even collaborated with Depop to sell some pieces featured in her music videos. Sour is a complex work of art with every visual supporting the overarching theme of the album. Olivia, truly embodying her melancholic feeling at the time of writing the album, embraced the duality of the teenage experience of feeling misunderstood and wanting to grow up faster, at the same time as wanting to hold on to a certain level of innocence and simplicity of older times. Just as she models her songwriting after country music's typical storytelling arc, her fashion choices through this era have been a continuation of the narrative drawn in her work. Most style choices depicted in her music videos, album artwork, and live performances combine a balance of softer, girlier touches along with some edgier, tougher elements. Just as with her music, she can be volatile one moment and sweet and sensitive the next, which is reflected in her wardrobe choices. Olivia takes advantage of her relatable girl next door likeness and plays with this childlike fun quality in her outfits while also tackling some darker, deeper emotions. Olivia's style has been described akin to Kinderhor in a couple articles I came across. Kinder actually means kids in German, so that word is kind of gross to me. According to Wikipedia, Kinderhor was a clothing style used by a handful of mostly female grunge bands in the United States during the early to mid-90s. The Kinderhor look consisted of torn, ripped tights and low-cut baby dolls and Peter Pan collared dresses, slips, knee-high socks, heavy makeup, barrettes, and leather boots or Mary Jane shoes. And while I can see how she may have taken some cues from the Kinderhor aesthetic of blending grungy aspects like ripped fabrics, chunky boots, fishnet stockings with girlier aspects, she seems to have foregone some of the key elements, including the stereotypical baby doll dress and ripped stockings I see in the images when I Google that style. Although there are a few specific instances where she may be more closely in line with the overall aesthetic of Kinderhor, such as one of the outfits she wore on the Sour photo shoot, which consisted of a black and white houndstooth print colored dress with white knee-high socks and Mary Jane shoes, along with pigtail braids, safety pinned as earrings, black nail polish, and lots of silver rings. A few of her stage outfits could also fall under Kinderhor inspired, in my opinion, with girly dresses mixed with fishnet stockings, full-length gloves, and Doc Marten boots, for example. Actually, Petra Collin, who directed the music videos for both Good For You and Brutal, has been largely credited for pioneering the Kinderhor look, so it's no surprise that some of the looks and aesthetics present in these music videos reflect this stylistic dichotomy. In the bedroom on fire scene of Good For You, Olivia wears a white bustier, full-length black latex gloves with a light blue plaid mini skirt, white knee-high socks, and tall laced-up boots. In the second look presented in the music video for Brutal, we see Olivia on the ground dressed in a light pink ballerina dress along with black fishnet layered undershirt and tights and black ballet slippers, which may be even closer to the Kinderhor look than the Good For You outfit. Later in the video, we can spot Olivia with pink streaked pigtails and barrettes, a two-piece pink and gray plaid set consisting of a tank and pleated miniskirt with an overlaid white ripped-up shirt and some chunky laced-up boots, also reflecting this style. A very popular setting in Collin's work is teen girls' bedrooms, which we can evidently see in both music videos as well. Olivia seems to also like this aesthetic, as we see it again in her Vivo Life short film and on her YouTube channel, as well as in the beginning scenes of Driving Home to You. Another couple times where her style may have been inspired by Kinderhor is in the promo picture of Sour Prom, as well as the actual outfit Olivia wore in Sour Prom. The promo picture of Olivia dressed as a prom queen, tiara and flowers in hand, with mascara running down her face from tears, actually received some backlash, with Courtney Love inferring that it was an imitation of the cover of Hole's Live Through This. I personally think the sad, tragic prom queen is a pretty popular trope that no one exclusively owned, but whatever. In the Sour Prom concert film, Olivia wears a blue metallic 80s inspired mini dress with pleated tears and Doc Martens Jaden combat boots. In Deja Vu, we also see her wear a Molly Goddard green ruffled dress with black stockings and chunky leather platform shoes, which again plays on that aesthetic. Lastly, we may be able to categorize her good for you cheerleader outfit under Kinderhor, although it might be a bit of a stretch, since after the choreographed dance scene, she puts on the latex glove before visiting a convenience store. The girly elements of the cheer uniform with the contrast of the black gloves may qualify for this aesthetic. She actually also got in trouble for that look with Pom Pom Squad singer Mia Baron. Again, I don't think anyone owns the grungy emo cheerleader, with Petra Collins featuring some photos of that concept in the past, and characters such as Missy from Bring It On and Peyton Sawyer from In One Tree Hill also embodying this type of character, although never actually dressing like that. Another main source of fashion inspiration in Olivia's sour wardrobe is early 2000s pop punk style adorned by the likes of Avril Lavigne, Lilix, The Veronicas, Hayley Williams from Paramore, Pink, and Gwen Stefani. She of course mixes and matches the edgier, grungy, emo pieces with some more soft girl inspired items such as hearts and butterflies, braids and pigtails, etc. Olivia's makeup is also typically more minimalistic. She doesn't usually go for the dark punk eyeliners like Avril Lavigne and Taylor Momsen did back then. The punk influences are most evident in some of her live performance looks. Olivia has been spotted with 2 custom looks from Praying, consisting of plaid skirts with larger hard tops with matching plaid ruffled trim. She had this set in both blue and red tones. She wears those outfits with a choker, some fishnets, full-length gloves, and some high leather boots. These outfits mirror this sort of tension between dark emotions expressed through the plaid print and accessories, and a desire to stay within the paradigm of girlhood with the design of the skirt and heart-shaped accented top. Another look she has in both blue and red are these plaid pants with metal zipper details that she wears with a black bustier over a black fishnet long sleeve undershirt and some leather boots presumably. These times it seems like she may be trying to venture into a more mature version of girlhood or womanhood, sporting bustier top while using fishnet and plaid patterns to visually represent the angst she is singing about. At the 2021 iHeartRadio Festival, she wore this asymmetrical cutout black crop top with matching long gloves from Cup of Stars, along with some baggy pleated light blue pants, a leather belt with silver chain accessories, black platform shoes or boots, and some pigtails to soften the look. During her SNL performance of Good For You, she wore a 2-piece Vivienne Westwood set comprised of plaid corset and tartan trousers along with Doc Marten boots. And in a recent Instagram post, she was wearing a D-2 check mini dress with Marc Jacobs Kiki platform strappy boots and pigtails. With those last 3 outfits, we see the softer parts of her personality shine through a little bit more, while remaining faithful to her punk and soft grunge influences. She leans into more feminine aesthetics with these looks, perhaps mirroring growing out of her teenage heartbreak and into adulthood, while still having fun and staying carefree. While a lot of her outfits from the Sour era have an edgier tone reflecting the confusion, anger, and sadness she experiences as a teen going through her first major heartbreak, some of her Y2K inspired looks are a lot softer and fun. Some are actually quite girly, in fact. For instance, this baby blue halter top 2-piece set paired with Converses from the Sour photo shoot, or this space buns look from a variety shoot featuring light mauve long front tied knit cardigan with fur collar and white flower printed pants, both from Blue Marine's fall winter 2021 collection with bedazzled heart shaped earrings. Another look from the same shoot consists of a two-piece brightly patterned crochet sweater and skirt set from Lidl's archive paired with Moschino chunky boots. In an Instagram post, she also wore a vintage crop top butterfly top that she got on Depop that looks very similar to a top Mariah Carey wore back in the day. At the Sour Prom drive-in premiere, Olivia wore a 2000s Betsey Johnson pink New York silk lace slip dress, which she apparently resold afterwards, along with some bubble pigtails, white pearl layered necklaces, and teal-colored platform heels. It doesn't get much more Y2K than that. Some other notable looks from Sour aren't particularly grungy, but are still very much inspired by the early 2000s trends. For instance, in Driver's License, one of the looks we see Olivia wear while lying on the floor is oversized denim overalls worn over a gray ribbed tank, a very 90s look a la She's All That. I don't know why, but I always associate overalls with that movie. Another outfit we see her in consists of plaid printed pants and a Sherpa-lined boyfriend denim jacket, and those jackets were very popular back in the days. In Deja Vu, she starts off wearing a very simple white beater tank with high-waisted jeans, black high-top Converses with some layered jewelry and retro sunglasses. A very basic, timeless look that could very well have been from the 2000s. One of the many outfits in Brutal's music video, the one in her bedroom, consists of dark blue leathered pants with a graphic baby tank, space buns, a bandana, and platform flip-flops. Those flip-flops were me and my sister's favorites growing up. Other looks from Brutal also highlight Y2K futurism and e-girl trends, just as Billie Eilish did with her Vogue photo shoot celebrating her 18th birthday by ditching her traditionally baggy clothes for a more feminine look, revealing a completely different side of herself. Olivia may be longing to explore her style beyond the constraint of angsty and carefree teenagehood. A few outfits she has worn in more formal events have hinted that she has the potential to look a lot more sophisticated. In July 2021, Olivia visited the White House. For the occasion, she wore a vintage Chanel 1995 fantasy tweed jacket skirt suit by Karl Lagerfeld. The pink accent still gave it quite a girly vibe despite being a more mature silhouette. She also paired it with black socks and white Giuseppe Zanotti Bebe platform sandals, along with a silver Chanel charm chain link belt. At the 2021 MTV VMAs, Olivia wore a 2001 fuchsia and light orange couture gown with bedazzled large pink butterfly earrings, still adoring her younger, girlier style. The same week, she attended the 2021 Met Gala in a Saint Laurent cat suit, teasing a much more mature look. The black off-the-shoulder lace and feather jumpsuit was paired with large rhinestone earrings and bracelets and black Jodi platform sandals, all from YSL as well. Later that same month, she attended the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures opening gala in a very mature gown, a Saint Laurent cutout high-slit maxi gown along with some black strappy sandals and bold red lips. This feels quite analogous to Billie's I Am a Woman Now moment. Her 2022 Met Gala look was a custom Versace look with a purple sparkly drapey high-slit gown, purple platform sandals, sheer purple full-length gloves, and large purple butterfly accessories in her wavy hair. This look kind of felt like a last homage to her Sour era with the butterflies, sparkles, and purple everything. Perhaps she's ready to start a brand new chapter now. In some of her later performances and photo shoots, we see her outfits be more bold and bubbly, her smile growing wider even. She is clearly outgrowing her heartbreak phase, which inspired the writing of Sour. Her changing style is likely reflecting her circumstances. She has outgrown the sadness and is much happier now. In an interview, she told Elle magazine that she is no longer as sad as when she wrote Sour, and so she is excited to explore more colors and textures and feelings in her new record. Perhaps that will also be reflected in her style. Time for some final thoughts. Wow, this was a lot more work than I anticipated. I thought this would just be a quick, fun little video, but it turned out to be a lot more in depth than I expected. That's me, always diving down rabbit holes and getting way into deep. But I think I liked how it turned out. Now, I don't plan on ever making any other fashion commentary, I think, because I don't have any style and I am a horrible authority on the subject matter. Hopefully you enjoyed this deep dive into millennial nostalgia and Olivia Rodrigo's aesthetic and style. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.